Hey, hello everyone, and welcome to another video. I'm Gabe.
I'm Chris.
I'm Andrew.
I'm Zach.
Noah.
And of course, as you know, we are reviewing Venom. The opinions, liked, disliked.
So, we'll start off with the likes because we all enjoyed this movie. Noah, you want to start us off?
Obviously, I like Tom Hardy. I loved Venom. Venom was hilarious. I thought the action was done very well. I enjoyed the story. I thought it was an interesting story. The villain, I thought, did a fine job as well. The comedy worked. I thought the comedy was very good. Yeah. The movie was good.
Well, for me, it was mainly Tom Hardy. He carried the movie, made it better. It was a good movie.
He usually carries the
without
films.
it, but when you put Tom Hardy in it, it makes it just better.
Yeah.
And but then his relationship with Venom, I found the most entertaining in the movie a lot. So I was just laughing through the whole thing. Their interactions mainly, when he keeps going to that gas station. I love everything in there, and it pays off at the end. The breaking in, when he's learning what Venom can do, and how they can kind of help each other, and everything. Even when Venom was attached to I don't know his girlfriend's name, but that was cool. When I saw that, I didn't expect to see a female version. It was. It was cool. That was a funny scene too. But yeah, just the action, everything. Oh, and one thing I really liked is the space aspect. They actually got it from outer space. They had spaceships.
Right up with that,
all of that. I appreciated it very much so.
Tom Hardy, obviously. That's just going to go down the line pretty much. But yeah, it's that, the relationship with the symbiote, the humor definitely I thought worked, the part where Venom's jump, and he takes the elevator, and he refers to him and Venom refers to Brock as a lady part. Yeah, the villain, again, they did that really well, and personally, as a Venom fan, I appreciated that they gave him the tongue. Just because that was just such a part of the comics, and the fact that it just wasn't there in the third film, I'm like, the tongue was gone. The tongue is so... It's I know that's a nitpick, but that's just so important. Yeah, the opening, I liked how it definitely was different from other comic book films we watched so far, where it's it starts off in space. Kind of reminded me of one of the the Predator film, where it's oh, what's this? And instead it's one of our ships, and it's crash landing with some material on it. And I really like that, and that's a lot of good stuff for me.
I will continue the trend. Tom Hardy was amazing in this movie. He did the voice for Venom, and he did it all beforehand in the movie. And I think that kind of aspect and doing that kind of thing in preparation for the filming, you guys mentioned it before we started, it greatly elevates the ability and the quality of the film. He got to react with the voice instead of them just saying, okay, this is what you're saying, and now you're going to react as Eddie Brock, and this is what Venom says, and now you react. I think that greatly increased his ability on screen. He did great. I've never seen a film that I disliked him in. I may have seen films that I disliked, but I've never seen anything, film, show, whatever, that I've disliked him in. He's, in my opinion, a really good actor. He knows how to take command on screen, and I felt he did very, very good in this part. I was expecting when the comedy started for it to get really lame and really blown over or exaggerated very quickly. I expected to dislike the comedy when I first started seeing it because it's something that they're inserting in all movies that are this genre. Superhero movies, action movies, they're just trying to insert the comedy into it because that's just a trend, that's a thing that they're doing currently. And I felt it was all organic. I felt it was authentic. His back and forth with Venom, the funny parts, all of those funny parts, when he's telling him hunger and he's reacting to that because it's just this voice that's popping into his head, and he doesn't know how to react, and it making him move. All of that I felt was very well done And the funny parts were funny every single time, in my opinion. You didn't have a moment, I think, that was wasted in this film. And I enjoyed the villain, both villains, the bad evil guy, and what was it? Riot. Riot was the symbiote.
Yeah.
That they did great there. Even the banter at the end before the climax, when he's going to fight him, and he's like, "Well, what's this one's name?" Riot, and he's got that you've not even heard of. And then when they start the battle, and then he starts doing his thing, pulling out all these, making all these blades and sharp spears and all this stuff. He's like, "See, told ya," and like every bit of it. The action was very good. People were complaining because this wasn't R. Everything that they did in this movie, I felt was great. I don't think adding blood would have made the movie that much better. They probably wanted a good start for the symbiote movies, because I've heard that they're planning on doing Carnage.
Well,
So
if it makes money, it'll get a sequel.
Please.
So if I think that they'll probably bring out an R rating for Carnage, but I think through everything here, I mean, I don't really have a lot of bad things to say about this movie that are serious or critical.
If they're gonna just add CGI blood, I don't need it.
Yeah.
To wrap it all off, Tom Hardy is definitely my favorite part of the movie. I like the comedy, the recent trend that you were talking about. I'm a much more casual moviegoer, especially with, the Marvel. I don't read any of the comics. I don't have the time to dive into that world. But yeah,
That's
definitely.
a big world.
Yeah. No, I think it is definitely, from a standpoint of that back and forth between Tom and Venom, it kind of highlights what you would think if that was actually happening to someone. You wouldn't know how to you wouldn't know how to deal with that. It would just be all of a sudden. So definitely the comedy was, in my opinion, just very necessary for that, because there'd be no other way that you would react to it except for just going absolutely insane.
So those are our likes. What would you say is possibly a dislike, if you can think of something?
Well, the CGI probably wasn't on par with other superhero movies, but
yeah.
I don't think it took away.
Yeah, no, definitely.
From
I
the
don't feel it. My opinion on a lot of movies nowadays, CGI is just going to keep getting better and better. It's always going to look more real, and it's always going to be this. But it's a movie.
Yeah.
When you're looking at that screen, most of the stuff you're looking at is fake in one way or another.
Much.
So I don't focus more on, well, does the CGI look that real? I mean, sometimes you can look at the CGI and say it's awful. Nobody should have okayed this to be in the movie. But I'm more of a, does it not look horrible? Does it not look bad? I'm okay with knowing that that's fake and with the screen's on fake, because it's a movie. It's all fake. I thought they did well.
Yeah.
It's a symbiote, so of course they're going to look fake because,
They are.
They are. I thought for just being these slime balls, basically, they did very well with them, the detail that they had for them. And even when it looked like in a few scenes where it said symbiotes died, they looked like they had prosthetic pieces there, or physical pieces, and I didn't think those looked bad either.
I think they cut out a lot of what they did practical. How do you guys feel about the scientists that
They could. I mean, the lady.
the lady doctor? Yeah.
Could have done a bit better with her.
I felt they rushed that whole thing.
Yeah, her I'd say is possibly the least favorite part, because it's like, okay, here's this character, and
Yeah, she's
gone.
completely okay with everything, and now she's finding an error. Now she has to find the hero. She has to get the hero involved, and now she's dead. And yeah, I felt.
Spoilers.
Yeah. This is a spoiler review. I think that would be something that I kind of had a problem with, is her whole role in the movie was kind of rushed and didn't feel very significant. It felt very choppy with her role entirely, because she literally just has him in the back of his car and she goes into the place and nobody notices or asks a question at all as to why this guy's walking around this place that has cameras everywhere and has live security and people probably
Because he
watching.
needs
Well,
to
they
get
might
the
not.
symbiote.
They might not
okay?
have
Convenience
cameras in the labs.
Multi-billion-dollar project buildings
Well, they
like
might not
that.
want it to be able to be seen. the cameras.
Yeah, but he was
There-
walking through the entire building.
Yeah.
So somebody should have noticed him somewhere. But you know, that I would consider that a nitpick.
Yeah.
That I don't think that's a huge deal.
Honestly,
They need to progress the stories.
Honestly, for me, it's mostly just nitpicks at this point
Yeah.
for this movie, really.
I'd agree.
Yeah.
The movie was so fun.
Yeah, I just had fun with it. I was like, I'm surprised I'm having fun with this movie.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like I was expecting to be more, like maybe a bit more of a scary film, but nevertheless, it still made it certain moments like scary. Because the first time you ever see like the head like materialize like out of Eddie and literally just look at him and start talking to him, you're just like, that would be very
Yeah,
uncomfortable.
that would be
How about-
that would be terrifying.
How about the scene in the lab where they're experimenting on that guy?
Oh.
And
Yeah,
starts doing
that-
the
that
convulsions?
that was a freaky
that was
moment.
so good. And
just
that
like-
was
very
into
good.
the rated R thing. That scene was still impactful
Yeah.
and memorable. I'll remember it. Like, and it wasn't rated R.
Mhm.
They
Yeah.
did the job that needed to be done, and it was great.
Or like when they broke Eddie Brock's legs.
Yes.
Oh.
That was
That was so fun.
his reaction to it was
Oh.
great too. Just the moment he's like, my body,
Yeah.
I'm doomed, aren't I? Yep, this is over. This was so much fun, but yeah, I'm dead now, aren't I? And then it's like, nope, we're good. We're gonna keep going. Venom just takes over and fixes
That
him, and
the first time he goes Venom, just goes full Venom. That was so good.
That was cool.
that was one of the highlights of the
Yeah, I
movie.
definitely liked how when Venom takes over, it's Brock who is like is sort
Yeah.
of speaking
Mhm.
in the head, and then when you see Venom talk, you see the lips move. I liked how they did that.
One of the parts I thought was really funny is when he first gets Venom,
Oh.
and so like he's in the restaurant,
Super
he's trying to find something alive to eat.
This is dead.
I mean, it's like part of me was straight up laughing, and then other parts I'm just like uncomfortable laughing. I'm like, oh, man,
And
this
then he
poor
gets,
guy.
he gets in the water tank.
The
he's just
lobster
laying
tank,
there, he's like,
yeah.
Oh, that's so much
I'm
better.
hot, guys. I'm hot. Oh my gosh! And then he jumps. He's like,
Oh.
so much better.
And then
And he's like,
I know one of my favorite parts was in his apartment when they come to get him.
yes, that was
Oh.
a great fight scene.
That whole
Oh, that
fight
was
scene was
wonderful
awesome.
to watch. That had a lot of comic aspects to it too, because in this show, one of the things I probably nitpick is that he can be a buff guy, Tom Hardy, and they did not play him out to be buff or a fighter or
Yeah, he-
anything like that
he actually
in
gets
the
his butt
comics.
kicked.
Yeah, he gets his butt kicked. He's not a fighter. He's not trained in anything. I mean, he
Yeah.
doesn't.
Yeah, he's
he's
a
not even a
journalist.
boxer. Yeah, he's just a journalist in this. Whereas in like the comics and in the at least the television show from the '90s, he's a buff big dude that's intimidating. And in this, they went a different route. I didn't even really mind that change that they made to it. And
Yeah, that would make him-
I think it amplified that because he's this smaller looking guy and he's kicking all these guys' butts and he has no idea what's going on because the symbiote took over.
Mm-hmm.
So he's freaking out as he's kicking the crap out of all of these guys and he's apologizing to them. He's like, I'm so sorry about your friends. I don't know what's going on.
I like at the beginning though, like when he first puts his hands up, he's like, "What are you doing? Why are you putting your hands up?" You're embarrassing us.
Venom was
It was just so good.
like, yeah, that goes back to the authenticity of the comedy because you've got alien coming to this world and he's basically a soldier or
Yeah.
of some kind of thing because he's part of this party.
Although
Even though he says, "I'm
I'm the loser, like
just
you."
like you." You could tell it's a very different dynamics, a more aggressive personality against a more. I would say that his personality was more aggressive. He was kind of more of that jerky, push, trying to get at the truth kind of thing.
Mhm.
But it was a very different personality to what Venom was. So that clashed very well. Created a lot of authentic comedy in my opinion. Comedy that made sense and did not get old.
No,
You know, I don't-
Not for me.
I think they're doing comedy better than Marvel movies have done.
Yeah.
lately.
Yeah.
I would say that definitely. At least the last few Marvel movies where they've had comedy in it,
And
It takes away from the movie.
yeah,
more
it
than
took,
it
it
adds.
took away
none of that comedy pulls you out. It only adds to it.
for us anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in my opinion, for
Yeah,
me.
The theater I was in, people were enjoying it.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody was busting up.
Yeah. We know that there's going to be more symbiotes
Mm-hmm.
because
Database.
they say there's millions of them.
Yeah.
One of the things I was a little disappointed in because we started on things we disliked, and then we went right back to.
Yeah.
We went right
Yeah,
back to
we
things.
like
It
this
was
movie.
that good
We
of a
like this
movie.
movie.
It was that good of a movie. But they didn't have any interaction with any of the other symbiotes and the scientists, anything like that. Even when they were in a host body that was human, they didn't try to interact with them. They didn't try to talk to them. They were just a lab rat. None of the symbiotes tried to say anything to the scientists or anyone.
I guess you could argue the idea that they weren't compatible.
Yeah,
probably.
because Venom had told Eddie that he had been looking for him. Basically, he had found him. So
It's like their bond was, actually working. It was strong. It was actually,
yeah, and
linked.
so they might have not had any interaction with him because they didn't want those humans as their host. They wanted someone that was
It's like,
gonna
this
be
isn't
more
working.
more
you'd,
compatible.
you'd think, being an invasion force, and the fact that they figure out that they know that these scientists are trying to find them a host, that they would actually communicate and say, nope, this one's bad, bring me another one, or something like. Again, this is kind of nitpicking, so
I don't think they wanted them to know they were as sentient. As
probably
they were.
this is true.
They're stupid. So
They
that they don't.
they were
take precautions.
probably playing that.
Yeah, because
that edge on
when Rampage is that what's called the big one?
it. Riot.
Oh, Riot, okay, Riot.
Yeah, that dude was awesome.
Yeah, when he finally
Yeah.
comes up, when he finally comes to him, the other guy, the villain, as this little girl walks up to him, and then takes over him. It's definitely shows that they're both pretty arrogant in their ways. It actually worked very well because they are both very arrogant. They both think humanity has decimated the planet. And so he's like, okay, yeah, more of you guys, sure. Let's just bond together right now. And so them working together worked too, because like you got the point of view of that villain, and then you get the symbiote, and you're pretty much getting the idea that this thing is superior in so many different ways. And so when they just link together, it makes a lot of sense that they would be able to work together.
Riot, from the moment it comes on screen, it's going to be bad. I felt they did very well with him. Immediately.
From the
gets
opening
in-
of the film.
But did you guys notice that they said it's Jameson? So do you think that is?
I believe that was a nod at
Jonah Jameson. Is it John Jonah Jameson, or whatever his name is, Jameson from the Bugle. I wonder if that was supposed to be
I think
his
that's
son.
a nod to the character. Yeah, I think that's a nod to the character.
Which kind of made me sad because that means they're not going to
Yeah,
bring
they kind
him
of treated
into
him
play.
like they treated Jimmy Olsen and
Yeah.
just Superman's like, oh, here they are, and they're gone.
Yeah, but he was a villain. And he was on a mission, and you knew it, and he was just going to slaughter everyone because he didn't care, and he had something to do, and everyone was getting in his way. The only thing I had a problem with was the old lady. She's just walking around. She's like, "Does anyone notice?" And then she walks over to the bathroom. She's like, "Ooh, I want that little girl." Does anyone notice that I'm going to take the little girl? No. It's like that was kind of you probably should have done something else moment. But again, this is nitpicking because this movie was so good. What about our end credit? No, it wasn't necessarily the end credit scene, but our credit scene.
I really liked it.
It was good. I like Woody Harrelson.
Bring it on for the Woody.
The wig, I mean, was a bit much.
Yeah, a bit much for
but
that.
I liked it. I
Yeah,
thought
it
was
was
awesome.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Being a fan of the '90s show, that was more the kind of
Well,
hair that he
no,
had.
I know why
so-
it's there. It's just on
It-
Woody Harrelson.
It's on Woody Harrelson. That's what we
You're
have.
like Woody Harrelson's a ginger.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how I feel about that right now.
But
But I like it.
I
Yeah,
think
other-
he'll do good as Carnage. When I noticed they were bringing Carnage in, which I called the moment I saw, I was wondering if they were going to bring him in because I was expecting to see him in the film.
Yeah.
But I understand why they held off on Carnage.
Mhm.
That's just an aspect. Definitely, if they are planning on doing R rating later, to hold off on Carnage because the little in the name it's R rating.
And
Yeah.
it shows that they can make a Venom movie without Carnage.
Yes,
Like,
and
it's still
do it
good.
well.
It's
but
just a good idea all around. It leaves people wanting more. They
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
see Carnage, and
my only complaint, and I like Woody Harrelson. I've got no problem with him. I think he's a great actor. Zombieland, one of his best performances, in my opinion.
This actually had the same director.
As Zombieland.
Zombieland, yeah.
So he does great work.
It was comedy.
He did great with this film. I think I would have I think that Jason Clarke, I believe is the actor's name. He teamed up with Tom Hardy for Lawless.
Yep.
I think I would have liked him more in this role. What I saw in Lawless, the moment I knew he was going to see Carnage, my thought is did they grab him? Because he kind of plays that unhinged, kind of crazy part in Lawless as the middle brother.
Yeah.
And I was just hoping, because I thought those two did well in that movie together. And I was hoping it was going to be him. I would have probably preferred it be Jason Clarke, but I have no problem with Woody Harrelson being Carnage. I think he'll have a lot of fun with the role, and I think that we will have a lot of fun with him.
And pretty much if you're a basic fan, you knew instantly when you realized, wait, Eddie's heading to a prison to interview someone? I think I know who this is going to be.
Anything particular that you liked or disliked about the movie?
I just liked the movie. It's just really good, honestly. I enjoyed myself, definitely. Probably one I would be more than willing to watch several times.
Yes,
for sure.
and this definitely has watchability, which again is something that I think Sony has one-upped Marvel on. Is the last few Marvel movies, in my opinion, have had I don't really have a desire. I don't really have a desire. Infinity War is one. When you watch it once, you need to take a break.
Yeah, because you're just like,
because that's a draining movie. I don't feel that Spider-Man: Homecoming had watchability. Black Panther, in my opinion, did not have watchability. Thor: Ragnarok, that didn't have watchability either.
Rewatchability.
Rewatchability.
Or watchability.
Yeah, in my opinion, those movies were weaker than this movie. So Sony has definitely got back on the beat of producing a movie that is actually very competitive with the Marvel films. It's in that universe, but Marvel film. Do you guys think that this is going to connect at all with Spider-Man? Because they did not put anything in there. He's set in San Francisco, and they say that he's from New York, and he did something in New York that got him kicked out.
I don't know.
That's the whole reason it's PG-13 is because they said that they wanted Spider-Man to be able to go into Venom movies in future movies.
Yeah, we'll
So
see.
they're going to try and do it. They are going to try and do it.
That's going to be kind of a weird thing because in the beginning, Venom is more of that arch nemesis adversary, and in this movie, he's definitely more of just the anti-hero.
Yeah.
Where he's actually a good guy, but
he do that in the comics too.
Yeah, I know he does, and he did that in the
down.
'90s series as well.
They could do it where Tom Hardy gets upset at the world or something, like his girlfriend dies or something, and then he wants to take revenge.
That's another good thing about this movie was as the conflict with the love interest. The female Venom was awesome. I think we already went over that.
For very little, but it was still very little.
And it was
cool.
it was very cool. It looks
Yeah.
great. The actress did very well.
Yeah.
Her reaction, I think, was spot on. Pretty much, just watching him, and she's like, "What? What? Like, she did a very good job. The actress did with that. I'm interested in seeing their relationship go. And at the end, when he's like, "Huh." Because we think, of course, after the end of the battle, you think Venom's dead, and then they're talking about that, and all of a sudden you hear Venom, "Ha,
We're getting her back."
Yeah, she doesn't understand that we're getting her back. She doesn't even know we're getting her back.
I liked how instead of it being like a surprise to Eddie that he was still there, it's like he already knows.
Mm-hmm.
I even liked her new boyfriend. I thought he was.
Surprisingly,
Yeah,
surprisingly, you're just like I didn't want him to like get killed or anything. I'm just like, okay, they actually made a decent rival boyfriend.
He was super helpful.
Yeah,
And
he's
like,
nice.
I
Yeah,
love
he's
their
not-
conversations because this part has to do with him being
And
ill.
even Eddie Brock kind of likes him.
Yeah, like he's actually a good guy.
I hope he's in the next one. Too.
Yeah, they definitely need to. If they jump ahead and she's single, I will be disappointed because he was a great addition to the film as well. This movie, even the more throwaway characters, I think the only person that I felt was wasted was the female doctor.
Yeah.
Even the head of security did very well. His whole arc, I think, well, his story, everything, he did his job. He came in, he did exactly what you would have expected.
And then left.
And that was it.
Chomp.
Yeah. But
Should have put when he was ahead. Okay.
Okay, Nick.
Oh darn.
What would you guys do for a rating out of 10? 10
I'd give
being
it like
the
an
best.
8.5.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd give it a 9. I don't think there's anything I'd really change.
Okay. Me, I'd probably say a solid 8. Maybe an 8.5. The same as you.
Yeah, I'm right there. I'd say at least, if you wanted to include all the nitpicking, I'd say at the very least you could possibly give this movie as a 7. And my opinion would be about 8.5.
Yeah, I'd have to go with 9. I mean, it's just
Okay.
a good movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's our opinions, and that's what we liked about the movie. Hope you enjoyed watching. Please leave a like, click subscribe. So I guess we'll see you next time we have something to talk about. So yeah, be seeing you later.
See ya.